Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, Alvin from Dr. Wealth, and today I just want to do a quick video on the Bitcoin. Recently, because of the huge run up and people are getting more noticeable about it, and just of yesterday it came crashing down more than 10%, and people are wondering whether this is a bubble. So I just want to give you a quick view on this. All right, let's begin. And the usual disclaimer, pause and read it if you need to. Okay, so Bitcoin price, this is a price chart of the past 6 years. Okay, you can see from the 21.4 start, and we had a crazy run in 21.7, right, that reached almost $20,000 per Bitcoin, right, in USD. Okay, and it came crashing down, and of course the bears were very happy that it finally crashed. All along, Bitcoin being a very controversial cryptocurrency, or even as a store of value, or even as a currency, different people view it differently, and many people have different viewpoints. And if you just really look around in the internet, in the forums, in the blogs, in videos as well, in social media like Facebook, you'll see a lot of people couldn't agree with one another. All right, and it actually remains more or less so even today. Okay, so where are we today now? Bitcoin actually had resurgence in 21.9, but it didn't hit the previous high, and then it came back down, and now it's back to the all-time high again. It's close to it's crossed 19,000 right? And this is a point where it's historical again. Some people will say that, it's like a double top, right? Some people look at technical analysis, double top, it will just crash again. And as of yesterday, it's true, right? The Bitcoin prices have crashed more than 10%, right? Whether we will have more room to go down, we are not sure. Okay, but I just want to share with you why I think this is not a bubble. Right, this Bitcoin rise in price is not a bubble, and it is actually a lot more sustainable going forward. Right, again, we may hold different views. You and me may disagree, but I will just take this opportunity to share my views. I'll use this Gartner hype cycle to explain. So Gartner is a well-known research firm in the United States, right? They do a lot of analysis on technology inventions as well as the companies, right? And they try to put them in kind of a status where they are in the cycle, right? Whether this technology is in a hype part, or whether this is more on a sustainable long-term growth trajectory. Okay, so it looks something like this. All right, initially when something is invented, it's called an innovation trigger, and thereafter you have the early adopters and people rave about it, and then it just keep rising and rising, and people start to have very unrealistic kind of projection in the future, why this is the next big thing. It's full of nice things. Of course, there's also another bear camp that will say this is nonsense. All right, and this bull and bear will just keep tussling, okay, in their viewpoints, and there will be at the peak of inflated expectations, right? That means people get ahead of themselves, right? The technology is not matured yet, but a lot of people is over extrapolating the future into the present, right? So it's a lot of unrealistic expectation, and when the bubble bursts, it crashes. Okay, and there will be a trough of disillusion. That's where some believers will even turn to like skeptics, like, oh no, this is just a scam, this is a fraud. I bought a high price, now I'm stuck with it. So there is this period, but some people manage to just hold through this period, and then they will start to see this slope of enlightenment. This is the serious, more sustainable bull run, in my opinion. Right, because this is where it becomes more stable. All right, the unrealistic expectation has been purged, and people are a lot more sensible at this point in time. And we should also see more reputable institutions or even individuals start to talk good about this technology. right? And then you also see in real world adoption and traction in this technology as well. All right, so I believe that any new things that's being introduced, not just really limited to technology, right? I do agree with Gartner on this hype cycle. Okay, that of course there's no scientific way to prove it, but intuitively and it's easy to understand. Okay, so which means anything that's revolutionary need to experience a first crash, right? That goes back to the Bitcoin chart again that we seen just now, right? We see the 2017-18 rise. That was a phenomenal one. A lot of people were crazy talking about Bitcoin is going to replace paper currency, etc. It didn't happen. All right, and what I did was that I tried to correlate with the Google Trends in terms of the search term Bitcoin. Okay, and see if let's say a lot of people search, it means that people are generally hyping up the prices, right? And I got this idea from another friend, right, who is very good with search engine optimization, and then he made this relation, right? So you can see the search term really peaked in 2018 together with the top of the Bitcoin prices. Right, it's the same. Okay, so which means this price run up is pretty much really driven by speculations, right? Driven by unrealistic expectation, the mass psychology, right? The masses interest in this Bitcoin at a very short period of time, that drives up the Bitcoin price a lot. And as the prices crash, and the interest also wane together. Right, and there was a momentary spike again, but it was not as high as 21.8 in 21.9. Okay, this is in 21.9, and you can see the prices also went up, and it's not sustainable, right? Because it's really driven by the temporal hype among the retail investors, especially. And then now we are in 2020. Okay, what you can see here is the price again has gone up a lot, back to almost the previous high. In fact, it surpassed the previous high momentarily before it came back down again. And you look at the corresponding search term in Google Trends, is so much lower than the previous two peaks. So I can say that this price run up is not driven by the mass retail investors out there. In fact, most of them are not even looking at it and not even interested. So then who are driving up these prices? And I do believe that it's more on the institution side of the house rather than the retail. And that means that it's going to be stickier because institutions do not just dump assets overnight. They are just like the stock market, right? If a stock market has a lot more institution participation, their stock prices tend to be more stable because institutions don't day trade their stocks holdings, right? They don't day trade their assets that frequently. Unlike retail investors, it's very fickle-minded to get in and out, right? So that's why I said this run is not really a bubble, but it's a start of a more sustainable bull run in Bitcoin. Okay, and just to share some developments, right? Some institutions are already adopting cryptocurrency. Like for PayPal, they just announced not long ago, a few weeks ago, right? That PayPal customers will be able to use their cryptocurrency holdings as a funding source to pay at over 26 million merchants around the world. That is a very high utility, right? Now people start to see that, the institutions are adopting it, and now it's possible for the masses to really utilize cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrencies as a whole, to pay for stuff, right? And this was not available before that. Okay, so you can see there is really a change in utility. Square as well, another fintech company, right, just last month announced that they have bought 50 million worth of Bitcoin. Okay, and their reason was that they believe this is economic empowerment, participate in a global monetary system, aligns with company purposes, yada yada yada, right? So whatever they say, okay, but that is the fact. They bought 50 million worth of Bitcoins, right? And that's about approximately 1% of their total assets. Okay, so it is still not a very huge proportion, but this is a start. Okay, you can see a lot of these fintech companies have started to really embrace the idea of cryptocurrency and bringing utility to the masses. And some listed companies like MicroStrategy, okay, are even more controversial, right? Because they are a business intelligence platform or software. Okay, they are not fintech. Okay, they don't have like a digital wallet for people to trade cryptocurrencies. So definitely that's not their business. But for MicroStrategy, what they did was that they actually kept a lot of their reserves, their cash, right? They converted it to Bitcoin, okay? And this is what the CEO Michael Saylor say. This investment reflects our belief that Bitcoin, as the world's most widely adopted cryptocurrency, is a dependable store of value, right? That's a key thing, dependable store of value and an attractive investment asset with a more long-term appreciation potential than holding cash, right? So there are companies that are ditching fiat currencies for Bitcoin, for cryptocurrencies, okay? So this is unprecedented, all right? And probably there will be more companies that are coming in to convert their cash or even part of their cash for a start into cryptocurrencies, right? So it's sort of like that is this trend that cryptocurrency is getting more and more legitimized, right? More and more accepted in society, and it's not just purely hype and just want to buy and sell higher to somebody else. There is some underlying utility that's going on. Okay, and something more about Michael Saylor, the CEO at MicroStrategy, right? 7 years ago, 2013, he actually was a skeptic of Bitcoin, right? He tweeted, "Bitcoin days are numbered. It seems like just a matter of time before suffering the same fate as online gambling." And then fast forward to today, and then he said that after a lifetime experience and months of analysis, I decided on an allocation of 100% in Bitcoin, right? So he switched on to the other way, right? Of course, most people won't be as extreme as him or as bullish as him, right? But it shows you that when you have more skeptics, influential skeptics who become believers, they will definitely also sway some of their followers and think likewise. And that's how society opinions are being shaped. They are being shaped by leaders and influencers like himself. All right. So I do believe that this is just a start, and we are on the track of a more sustainable bull run for cryptocurrencies. In specifically, I'm mentioning, I would say that it's more for Bitcoin. Not all cryptocurrencies are the same. Some are probably more in the hype stage, especially we see in the DeFi, the decentralized finance coins. They just had the beating. Okay, so if we can go back to where the hype cycle is, I do believe Bitcoin is somewhere around the slope of enlightenment, right? And then some coins, some DeFi coins, maybe the bubble just burst, right? So they are on the way down. Okay, so not all cryptocurrency are the same, right? That's just my warning for you. And of course, Bitcoin is the very first cryptocurrency that got famous, and I think this mind share will not go away. All right. So in summary, I don't think Bitcoin is in a bubble right now, right? I do think that 21.7 was a hype, but not in 2020. Okay, I show you that the Google trend, it shows that it's not the retail people that are pushing up this Bitcoin en masse, right? But it is more of the institution, right? The real progress has been really made because institutions are now adopting Bitcoin, especially payments companies, right? Because they will have a very wide distribution network for people to adopt cryptocurrency to pay for stuff. Okay, so they are very critical institutions to really adopt and embrace the change. Okay, and then they become the change advocates. All right, so cryptocurrencies will be more available from 2021 onwards when PayPal, Square will start to offer in their wallets, right? And it will be more convenient because a lot of people have all these accounts already, right? And then they can promote more usage of this cryptocurrency. And lastly, some controversial company like MicroStrategy even use Bitcoin as a store of value instead of cash, right, in the company's balance sheet. Okay, so with all this real progress, I don't think this is a bubble, right? Institutions are driving this, okay, and then the institutions will lead the masses to really adopt, and people will start to see the increased utility of it. And I do believe the bull run is a lot more sustainable this time around. All right, so that's all for me, and thank you. Whether you agree with me or disagree, we agree to disagree. All right, that's my view. I personally is vested in a small bit of cryptocurrency. I have some Bitcoin and some Ethereum. Right, that's just my view. Okay, I put money where my mouth is. All right, cheers. Good luck.